Good morning, good afternoon, or good night from whenever and wherever you are watching us. I am Cameron Scandal. There is no Steven Treffler today, and this is The Sound. We thank you so much for joining us today, folks. It is the heat of the NBA playoffs. Not exactly going my way right now, as both of my final picks may be out of the running at the time of recording. We got a good basketball show for you today. Steve wishes he could be here, had some unfortunate scheduling conflicts with work, so he could not be here to record this show. Got a good one for you, some good NBA material, some good playoff stuff. We got a lot to talk about, so without further ado, let's get right into it. Our first topic of the day, Lakers Timberwolves. Series at the time of recording is 3-1 with the game 5 being played tonight. So by the time you're watching this, Lakers could either be still in the hunt, maybe playing tonight, or they could be out of the playoffs entirely. If you remember correctly, or if you're a fan of the show, Steve and I had both chosen LA to get to the finals out of the Western Conference. Clearly not going the way it was supposed to, so what exactly happened, and what is my reaction to how the Lakers series has gone thus far? Well, there's a few things, to be honest. First of all, 40-year-old LeBron James still playing out of his mind. Anthony Edwards also playing out of his mind, which we will touch on in just a little bit and also later in the show. Luka not doing Luka things. Now, by the numbers, you would think he is. But as a whole, his impact has not been the same since this series has started. And I have said in the past that with LeBron James, it is unfortunate that history will not remember all the things he's done, or will not remember the proper context of how he has done the things he has done. If you look at the numbers, especially with Luka, like I was just saying, averaging 31, 7, and 5 in the series, tremendous numbers, but he has not played up to the same Luka all-time standards that we are used to seeing. He is not really the storyline in the series. The storyline is LeBron and Anthony Edwards. Before I touch on them, I also want to quickly touch on JJ Redick. Game 4, playing all of the same 5 guys in the second half of the game. I think that was the first time we had seen evidence that JJ Redick is a rookie and first-year head coach. We have said, Steve and I, up to this point, he has done a pretty good job, better than we had expected with the Lakers, but very evident in that last game that this is his first time coaching, not just an NBA team, but any basketball team in his illustrious coaching career. JJ should get a lot of credit. He should get a lot of respect. He has done a much better job than, like I just said, than Steve or I had thought, or I think anyone had really thought. But it's hard to come back, or it is hard to shake the image of coach didn't play me for an entire second half of the game, referring to the rest of the Lakers bench. For JJ Redick to play just those 5 guys, just the starters, nobody else, what do you do with your morale as the bench guy moving forward when you know that you're only now going in for, 1, JJ to save face, or 2, you're not in there as a valued member of the team. You're simply just in there as a body holding a spot until the actual guy can get back in. So, how they get back from that, I'm not entirely sure. But like I said, regardless, JJ Redick should get a lot of credit for this postseason and this season as a whole for what he's done with his Lakers team, being in his first year. Anthony Edwards, Steve and I think a smidge have disrespected. And we had talked about, obviously, like I just said, we both picked the Lakers to make the finals. Steve has been asking me, so now that they might be done, who is your pick to make it? And I don't want to give away anything because I think we're going to talk about that later on when he is back. But I truthfully, I have some ideas in my head, and I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to give anything away right at this point in time. But the Minnesota Timberwolves could be the team that comes out of the West. Because I have mentioned I don't believe in Oklahoma City. I think their youth and inexperience will eventually show. I don't think they are going to maintain the pace over Memphis for the entire playoffs. But Minnesota, who is going to play now, potentially play, I should say, a a Golden State team who I had mentioned last video or last week that, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, that they are not a legitimate finals contender. I think they have a clear cap. They're going to get gassed later into the playoffs. And Minnesota, who has been rolling, is going to have confidence beating the Lakers and LeBron, a team that nobody thought they were going to beat. And what is that going to do for their confidence against Golden State, who I know it's 3-1 in that series at this point in time as well, at the time of recording, but that could be a fight with how Houston has been playing defensively. Emotions have been running high in that game as well. So I don't know if Golden State's going to have all of it in the tank to beat that juiced up Minnesota team. But again, that's neither here nor there. Anthony Edwards is the driving factor behind this Minnesota team. I heard Nick Wright say this. Well, I watched it today, but I believe he said it yesterday. He is putting or collecting a lot of pelts in his early NBA career, beating the likes of soon-to-be LeBron. He has sent home Nikola Jokic. I just mentioned has the potential to send home Steph Curry. He has done a lot. And Anthony Edwards is also becoming, a legitimate top 5, 6, 7 player. One of the three, I would say with confidence, one of the three best two-way players in the league. Off the top of my head, perhaps the best player under 25. I would have to look at a complete list of guys under 25. I'd imagine he is at the top of that list. I don't know how old Luke is, though, to be honest. I don't know if he qualifies. Anthony Edwards is really emerging into his own in this NBA landscape. And I think moving forward, you will obviously see more of him deeper in these playoffs. But he has been tremendous so far this series and deserves a lot of respect and credit for getting the Timberwolves in this position. But LeBron James is always going to be my number one focus and talking point. Has been absolutely incredible. And besides Anthony Edwards, who I just praised, has been the obvious number one Laker so far and has been the second best player on the court every single game. Sometimes the best player on the court, depending which game. LeBron James is showing us that he can play however he wants, whenever he wants. For a lot of his career early in Cleveland, it was give me the ball. I'm going to do quite literally everything. I'm going to score. I'm going to pass. I'm going to shoot. I'm going to defend. Everything, because no one else on this team can do quite literally anything else. Kind of like Anthony Edwards, to be honest, right now with this Minnesota team, or with Giannis in Milwaukee, who we'll also get to in a little bit. But that was LeBron early on. Then he goes to Miami, where he teams up with Wade and Bosh, and it becomes not only can I still do everything at an extremely high level, but now I'm going to get my team, my other all-time teammates involved. I'm going to become this great winner. I'm going to work on, my defense a little bit more. Then he goes to Cleveland the second time, where he becomes, in my opinion, that's my favorite and best LeBron James ever, the second stint in Cleveland, an absolute superhuman in defying the limits of your body in a game, being savvy with his, that was when the whole flipping a switch thing came up, was big, kind of playoff Jimmy before playoff Jimmy. Then going back to the Lakers, he becomes, a better defender in his late years. He masters the three-point shot. And you are seeing now that when LeBron can defer to Luka Doncic, he doesn't have to be doing everything like he has been for his entire life. He has more energy. He can do more. And now that he's learned and has, like I just said, throughout his whole career, done everything, he can pick and choose which version of LeBron he needs or has to be at any given time. And no old person has ever, maybe no player ever, has had the ability to do that. Play every version of themselves in the last part of their career. LeBron will never be bad. We will never see a bad version of LeBron James, the basketball player. When people get to this stage of their career, it is obviously when they're retiring, they don't have it anymore, they're barely a role player. I don't know if you remember Dirk Nowitzki before he said his goodbyes, but oof, wasn't a great look. Steve Nash. Oof. Kobe, rest his soul before he died, had a terrific last game, but oof, did not look great at the end of his career. It's just not something that happens. But LeBron, at 40 plus years old, is showing you that he can still be the best player on the floor at this age at every part of the game. It's just unheard of. And it's a shame that their season may potentially end early. Like I said, history will not remember the awesomeness that he has played, but simply will just remember you lost in the first round to a 6 seed when you had Luka Doncic on your team. That's inexcusable. I think that the fact that everyone was confident in LA and in LeBron, and, the narrative was if he can stay healthy or if he can stay rested, they have a real shot, and this is what he can do. He's done it. It's just unfortunate that it wasn't enough. Minnesota seemed to peak at the right time. Anthony Edwards peaked at the right time, and the Lakers just took the brunt of it. But I don't think anyone can look at these games and say the Lakers are getting just outplayed and getting smacked out of these games. Like I said, at the time of recording, they are still alive. They play tonight at 10 o'clock, so we'll see what happens if they'll be around when this releases. But yeah, unfortunate for the LA Lakers. Moving on to our second topic, Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks, another first-round exit, losing to the Indiana Pacers 119-117 in overtime. Giannis for the series, 33, 15, and 7 on 60% from the field. It is their third straight first-round exit, and the number one question people have at this time is, where is Giannis going to be next season? What is the status of Dame going to be moving forward? Is this the end of Giannis in Milwaukee? Has it been an underwhelming performance thus far? There was a lot of questions circling around Giannis' future. And before I get to where I think his future is going to look like, I just want to point out how incredible Giannis has been, not only this series, but the playoffs since the championship. Giannis was the only person on the Bucks worth a damn. Now, Gary Trent Jr., great game last game in Game 4 or in Game 5. Bobby Portis had his moments, possibly his best season, postseason ever. Like I just said, Dame gone. Brook Lopez underwhelming. Kyle Kuzma, enough said. The Bucks have nobody but Giannis. He was the only one doing anything the entire game. Much like LeBron, if you were watching those games or following that series, if you think that Giannis had anything to do with the outcome of this series, meaning he lost it for them or it's on him, you don't understand, you don't know basketball. Giannis had nothing to do with losing this series. They are 8-12 since their 2021 championship. As I mentioned, there's been 3 first-round exits in those 20 games. Let me paint the picture of what has happened in these playoffs, of why they are 8-12 since that championship. So 2022, they lost to Boston, who would go on to make the championship in the second round with no Chris Middleton. Giannis proceeded to put up 32, 14, and 7 in those playoffs. 2023, they lost to Miami in the first round. Now, Giannis played 2 games in the end. He was hurt and then came back. Thought he might be able to do it, but couldn't. Still put up 23, 11, and 5 in just that first round series. 2024, he was hurt, so it doesn't really count. Now, how do you want to handle injuries? Steve was a big proponent of, and I think he would say this if he were here, injury is a part of your job, like maintaining your injury, staying healthy, being available for your team. That's a part of your legacy. To me, that's out of your control. I'm not going to penalize someone unless you're like Kawhi Leonard, where it's been every single year and you're just out missing entire seasons. I'm not going to penalize you for just being hurt because of, like I said, unfortunate circumstances. 2025, which we're obviously in right now, no Damian Lillard, who was brought to Milwaukee to be the quote-unquote missing piece or the savior. He still puts up, like I said, 33, 15, and 7 on 60% shooting. None of these playoff losses are on Giannis. No one comes out of these series and says, you know what? Giannis should have done more. Giannis lost them that game. Giannis was the reason. There's none of that. Giannis is the only reason they're in those series. Like that 2022 series with Boston went 7 games. I think this series with Indiana, this Milwaukee team was sorry. And if you are not a regular viewer of the show, you're here for the first time. First of all, welcome. Second of all, you may or may not know this. I picked Milwaukee to make the finals. The Milwaukee Bucks are making the finals. They are making it out of the East, and they are returning for the first time since 2021. Lakers, Milwaukee was my pick. And I believed that, or I picked that because Giannis was having an all-time season, and legendary players do legendary things. And I thought this was going to be their time or their resurgence. Like I said, Dame getting hurt and Giannis doing everything he can except score 50 every single game. I don't know what people expect from him. But the question or the storyline today is not Giannis's performance. It is where Giannis is going to be in the future. And the answer to that is I have no idea. I don't think Giannis knows. Everyone seems convinced that this is his last time in Milwaukee, that we saw him put on a Bucks uniform for the final time because the team isn't getting any better. Giannis isn't getting any younger. They have no flexible cap room or salary space. They don't own their next 4 draft picks. And as I just mentioned, with their sorry roster, how many or how big of moves can you make to get Giannis to stay or get yourself over the hump? I truthfully have no idea. Giannis, we also know, likes being in Milwaukee. I think he has a connection, much like Luka in Dallas, has a connection to that city and feels like he is a part of it. And Giannis has a decision to make on if he wants to be an all-time great or a legend. Because right now, like I said, to put it in lowballing terms, Giannis is top 40, top 30, somewhere in there. Only has the 1 championship. Obviously has the multiple MVPs and Defensive Player of the Years. Multiple-time first-team All-NBA guy. Consensus top 2, 3 NBA player for the last 6 years, let's say. 5, 6 years. That's not going away. And I also think Giannis, and I've said this before for other players, I don't love the argument of just purely put this guy one-on-one or at just purely the game of basketball, the eye test. Who do you got and where do they fall on your list? Giannis being a 7-foot monster who can play offense and defense should have that be a major part of his argument of hey, go through the all-time list. Who's going to stop him or who is actually better at the game? That's an argument to be had, but he needs accolades. He needs achievements. So Giannis, I think, no matter what, is going to be looked at and viewed and regarded as an all-time great player, like I said. Now, whether he reaches legend status or not depends on what he does with the rest of his career and how he builds his future. But he has given no indication to us that he wants to or is going to leave Milwaukee. And last night at the time of recording, Tuesday night, when he was asked about his teammates and their performance and how he felt they did and if he trusted them, he said yes. He would trust them. He would trust them today. He trusts them tomorrow. He trusts them next season. He does everything, he can for the Bucks, and those are his guys. He mentioned how he gets along with Doc Rivers, and he even went through and pretty much listed the entire Milwaukee roster by name. That is important, and that's something to really be aware of because that means that Giannis is, I think, bought in on what Milwaukee is doing right now. He's given no indication that he's not. And I think unless Giannis comes out and puts, states what he truly wants for the rest of his career, if he makes that clear and abundant to the public, then we can go ahead and run with something. But I think right now it would be doing a disservice to just assume Giannis is going to go somewhere else when that is, not been his thing for his whole career. I think he wants to build in Milwaukee and with the Bucks and do the homegrown thing like Dirk and Kobe and Duncan and all those guys. I think he has the right to go somewhere else. He shouldn't be judged or viewed differently or dropped in anybody's list whatsoever. I don't think anyone can take, if he wins a ring somewhere else, take that championship away from him or call it fake or say that he didn't earn it, or the case maybe. He's been in Milwaukee for 12 years, I think. I mean, the better part of a decade. So he's earned it. He can go somewhere else. Just whether he'll do that or not, I have no idea. And I think it's fair for all of us to just let him kind of handle that himself without us making assumptions. Moving on to our third and final topic, it is everyone's favorite ranking system, today's top 5. Whoa! New graphic. Unless you're new to the show, that's just a graphic view. But if you are new to the show, first off, welcome. Second of all, today's top 5 is where Steve and I rank different sports things in the correct sports context, whether it is players, it is teams, it is moments, whatever the case may be. We put things in the correct sports context from 1 through 5. Today's top 5 is going to be the top 5 best playoff performers so far in these short playoff games. Steve was consulted on this list, even though he is not here. This was our joint list. Steve, actually, if you are watching, which you should be, you weren't consulted on number 5, but I think you'll be okay with what I've done anyway. So without further ado, let's take a look at the brand new layout and graphic for today's top 5. All right, here we have a look at today's top 5. As usual, starting off at the bottom and working our way up. Number 5, Kawhi Leonard and Steph Curry. Now, I don't love when we do 2 players or teams at the bottom spot, but I think this was fair because, first of all, Kawhi Leonard has defied, I think, everyone's expectations this postseason, especially mine. I mean, he has been keeping the Clippers afloat in this series, being tied 3-3 at the time of recording. And now Kawhi, like I said in the Nuggets-Clippers series preview video, I needed to see it to believe that Kawhi Leonard could come back and be playoff Kawhi and keep it, since it had been so long since we had seen it for a full postseason. Now, whether we're going to keep seeing it for a full postseason, I don't know. I have no idea. He's been playing well so far. Got to give him credit for that. Steph Curry, same thing. Steph Curry has been the best player in this series so far, just like Kawhi. Well, actually, Kawhi has. I shouldn't say that. But Steph Curry has been the best player in his series so far. And Steph Curry, as Steve and I had mentioned, I don't think, if you look at just at his numbers, sure, but has not been a great all-time playoff player. I think he this season has the potential to kind of shake that monkey a little bit, in a sense of he is the clear factor and leading man behind all of these great moments. And I think that with also how his all-time image and ranking has been moved a little bit as of late with his recent Finals MVP and how great he's playing as an old player as well, has the potential to go deep in these playoffs and make himself a little bit of a better resume moving forward. So these guys have been playing great. We'll see if they can keep up their performances in the rest of the playoffs, but Kawhi Leonard and Steph Curry at number 5 right now. Number 4, LeBron James. Now, I touched on this earlier in the show, at the very start of the show, but LeBron has been playing excellent. 26, 10, and 6 in the series so far. They're down 3-1. There's one player I want on my team when I'm down 3-1. It is LeBron James. So they are still fighting at the time of recording. Whether they're out when you are watching this video, I don't know. But they still have a chance if LeBron James is on their team. LeBron has been the best defender on the Lakers this series. He's been the best player on the Lakers this series. He's been the second best player in general in this series. And who would have thought at 40-plus years old he would still be doing these things? Me, actually. I thought he'd be doing these things. And he still is, playing still great basketball. I think if they were to continue on this series, you can expect the same things. And he has been, as I mentioned earlier, whatever the Lakers need him to be on that night. Whether he needs to be the primary scorer on the offense, whether he needs to be the best defender on the other side, whether he needs to let Luka or the rest of the team cook and he just fills in the blanks everywhere else. He can be and do whatever he needs to at this point in time, and he has just been nothing but playing top basketball so far in these playoffs. I think even in his age, he clearly has earned the number 4 spot to be one of the best playoff players. Number 3, Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards, 38-6 in the playoffs against the Lakers. And I also mentioned this earlier that Anthony Edwards truly stepping into his own in his young NBA career as a playoff performer. I mean, taking Luka to 7 games in the conference finals last year, possibly beating Luka and LeBron in the first round this season, has beaten Jokic in the past, could potentially beat Steph Curry. I mean, he's been truly amazing, and I think Steve and I have been undervaluing him a little bit in these playoffs. He's also one of the best two-way players you can have right now. And folks, Steven Treffler, hold on, timeout. Steve, I am currently recording for the sound. Explain yourself of why you can't be here with us today.
Because my job sucks and I couldn't get off on time. And I'm sad about it because I was ready to give the people intelligent, cogent sports analysis.
And I mean, thankfully I'm here to hold us down, but we are missing your presence today.
I am sorry that I can't be there. I promise going forward I'm going to be making a more conscientious effort to be there.
I also want to say this is an unplanned and completely spontaneous phone call that we're having right now. Currently in the middle of today's top 5, Steve. Would you like to see where we're at so far?
I actually would.
All right. So at this point in time, we're on number 3. I have number 5. Now, I actually said at the start of the show, I didn't consult you on this decision, but I think you'll be okay with it. I have number 5 split at Kawhi and Steph Curry. I have number 4 at LeBron James. And I have number 3 at Anthony Edwards. Would you like to give any words? I was in the midst of my Anthony Edwards take. Would you like to give any words about him so far?
I mean, Anthony Edwards has shown that he can elevate against a team like the Lakers, who you and me both said are a team that we thought were going to make the finals. And he has clearly been the best player in this series. And he has just taken the Wolves, put them on his back and said, guys, nobody thought we could do this, and we're going to. And he's proving a lot to me right now.
I had said I think we disrespected Anthony Edwards a little bit early in his young career.
Well, you know, Anthony Edwards has come out and said that he didn't want to be the face of the league. He had no interest in it, right? So Anthony Edwards has not, you know, last year they went to the conference finals, and understandably so. I mean, they had a really good roster, and they have a good roster this year. But Anthony Edwards last year had the unfortunate incident of running into Luka Doncic, and he had a great series against the Wolves. But the Wolves are a solid team. Anthony Edwards isn't a very I want to be in the media. I want to be with my face on TV. Like, he just wants to play basketball, and he's really good at it. And I think he just kind of has a mantra of just leave me be, all of the extra stuff. I don't want to put myself out there. I just want to excel at my game. And I think that's why maybe we have disrespected Anthony Edwards a little bit.
I think enough said to be there. I think with that, Anthony Edwards, number 3. But yeah, Steve, like I said, holding down the fort for you here while you're away. Almost through with the show, but we're glad you can make this candid guest appearance of sorts.
It was a pleasure to be here, and look forward to talking to you later, guys.
We will definitely be here in the future. Steve, until you're back, you take care.
You too. All
right. Bye. All right. So yeah, there is Steve giving his 2 cents on Anthony Edwards, and as I said, Anthony Edwards, number 3. Moving on to number 2, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Again, talked about this earlier, but it is so true. 33, 15, and 7 on 60% shooting from the floor. I mean, Giannis did everything he could in that series to win them the game. The Bucks just simply weren't good enough. And I had picked them to make the finals because I had believed in Giannis's legendary status, and I think he still is that. There has been no one who has been more efficient. I believe he is the number 1. I'm going to fact check myself right now. I believe he is the number 1 scorer in the NBA for points per game. He is. And I think he's done the most for his team out of anyone so far in the playoffs. Now, that's being weird why he'd be a 2 and not number 1 with that statement, but I don't believe anyone has given more effort, more I'm putting the team on my back, more I'm going to do whatever it takes to win than Giannis so far this postseason. I don't think you can count it against him that he lost once again in the first round. Truly remarkable stuff. Truly legendary things we're seeing from Giannis in the postseason. Yet again, he takes number 2 in today's top 5. And number 1 on today's top 5, Nikola Jokic. The best player in the world right now, averaging 25, is it 11 and 13 or 25, 13 and 11? It is 25, 13 and 11. And clearly still the best player in the world. And I picked Denver to win that series in 7 because I said that when Nikola Jokic is playing so well right now, I don't have faith in Kawhi and James Harden in the postseason. I think he's going to put them on their back and, get them past his team, which he has never done really before. Put the Nuggets on, well, let me rephrase, has never done that in the postseason. Put the Nuggets on his back and carried them like Giannis, I just said, with Milwaukee. Has the potential this season to prove me and all the playoff haters wrong that is something he can and is willing to do. Now, I don't have the Nuggets making the finals, so I don't think he will do that. But right now, this moment, I don't think there's anyone I'd rather have on my team in the postseason than Jokic. Now, again, Giannis, strong argument. But I got to give Jokic his respect because he is the best player in the world right now. So he does get the slight nod to be number 1 in today's top 5. And that is today's top 5. So starting at the bottom, working our way back up just to go through it again. Number 5, Kawhi Leonard and Steph Curry. Number 4, LeBron James. Number 3, Anthony Edwards. Number 2, Giannis Antetokounmpo. And number 1, Nikola Jokic. Today's top 5. And that's going to do it for us today, guys. We hope you enjoyed watching and listening to the sound. We hope you learned something today from our sports content. Also want to make you guys aware that next week, I will not be here, and Steve will be doing his first solo show just by himself. So hope you all learned something from him next week. I will be back the following week. Just going on a little golf trip, having myself a little vacation. But until then, folks, always remember, well, first of all, make sure you follow our Instagram page @thesound_YT for any updates we may have there. Also, make sure you like and subscribe to this video. Comment on anything you want us to talk about. If you think I'm an idiot, if you think I'm the smartest person ever, if you think that we need to talk about more football, less basketball, more basketball, whatever the case may be, let us know in the comments and we will read and respond to all of them. And folks, always remember, if you are ever in need of intelligent and cogent sports analysis, we will always have you covered. Thank you so much for joining us today, folks. We hope you have a great rest of your day or night. Stay cool now. Stay safe. Take care. We'll see you next time. Listen to the sound. I listen to the sound.